Hey there, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice. It's not always that I play a whole game. Many times I pick up games in the seventh inning, but today I feel like running a whole game. We're using payoff pitch. I'm using the fast action cards. I'm replaying the 1979 Mets season. You can see that I have a 9.7, I believe, inch iPad. I'm using the free app called iScore. And that's about it. Now, this is a practically chartless game. Most of the results are taken from the pitcher-batter interaction. And there's some minimal modifiers that I use to kind of make the game my own. And we have a pretty good pitching matchup today. It's Pete Falcone against J.R. Richard. In reality, this game is won by J.R. Richard, who goes the distance by a score of 3-1. This game is played September 1st, September 1st, 1979. We're about 30 games away from completing the season. And it's going to be starting it off for the Astros on the mound is going to be J.R. Richard. And Richard was 18-13 with a 2.71 ERA. And you can see his gum wrapper right here. These are 79 set of gum wrappers from Topps. And what I'm imagining, I mean, I don't remember them very clearly, but I guess they were inside a pack of baseball cards. And they were wrapped up. These were the gum wrappers, because you can actually still see the creases there from the gum. See that right there, which is pretty cool. And the caricatures, the cartoons are pretty spot on. JR set NL mark, and then it gives you some facts. Set NL mark for right-handers with 303 strikeouts for the Astros in '78. It tells you about the previous season. The batted ball is ruled fair if it hits the pitcher's rubber. It's still in play. It's still on the field. Why would it not be ruled fair? That's kind of weird. Anyway, these are the type of things that you get. All right, so I'm going to get started right away. And I'll go over the lineups for the Mets, tell you a little bit about them. Now, in my last video, I went over the stats up to this point, which are pretty spot on, pretty close. There's two, major discrepancies. One is with Flynn, the other one is with Mazzilli. Mazzilli's hitting about 28 points higher, 25 points higher than his actual average. Flynn is hitting about 40-ish points lower than his actual average. Other than that, everybody's pretty within, 10 points or so of their actual average. Again, I have a tendency to let starting pitchers go a little bit longer. So sometimes this could have a negative effect on batting averages. Now, why do I do that? Well, sometimes I don't feel like making a lot of pitching changes because it's time consuming, and I really play for the game itself, not necessarily. And I feel it drags on me a little bit when I have to make too many pitching changes all the time. I really like letting guys go the distance as much as possible, but always kind of staying close to the actual lineups and the actual play of the game as much as possible. But I do cheat towards making fewer changes and making more changes. All right, but not all of you guys play the same way I do. So anyway, let's look. I also, I don't really clearly remember these players all that well. I watched them pretty much, a couple times a week when I was a kid, but it was black and white TV mostly. So today it's going to be for the Mets on the mound is Pete Falcone. Pete Falcone. So let's find him so we can take a peek at what he looks like. This is the 1980 Mets. He should be in here. There he is, Pete Falcone. All right. And there you go. There he is. There's his baseball card, so I'll keep him out as well. And we're going to get started. We're going to start pulling cards, and J.R. Richard is going to look in for the sign. And he sets and he deals, and that's a tough pitch. He's got a big tough section here. That's the way payoff pitch works. If you're a pretty good pitcher, he had a 2.71 ERA, so he's going to get a lot of tough. So that's a tough pitch. Now let's see what Frankie Tavares can do. Oh, I was going to read you the lineups. Let's see what Frankie Tavares can do with that pitch. Tavares leads it off, plays shortstop. Then you have John Stearns playing left field today. He's a catcher, but he's playing left field today. Mazzilli's in center as usual. Richie Hebner, third baseman, batting cleanup. Joel Youngblood in right field, batting fifth. Batting sixth is one of my favorite Mets players, a long-time Met. He's 35 years old. Eddie Kranepool, left-handed hitter. Batting seventh is Alex Trevino. Batting eighth is Doug Flynn, and then Pete Falcone is a 5. So we've got to get a pitcher hitting card number 5 and put it in that spot. Pitcher hitting card 5. There it is. I bought an extra set of pitcher hitting cards. So, because sometimes I forget them inside teams, and then I got to go back to the last team I played and to track it down, and it's a little bit of a drag. So anyway, I'll be reading some stats to you. We'll see what happens in this game. It's going to be tough against J.R. Richard, but we'll see what we can do. So we're going to pull a card down for the batter. We know it's in the tough section. So 33 to 47 is going to be a hit, and we roll a 98. That's definitely an out, and that's a fly ball to left. It's one away. All right, John Stearns, the right-handed batter, playing left field today, normally the catcher. Pitch from Richard. Again, it's a tough pitch, a 59. Tough 59. Richard is a righty. That's going to be a fly ball to right field. Denny Walling is out there. He squeezes it. And next batter, Lee Mazzilli, batting from the left side, is a switch hitter. That's going to be a patient 93. And that's going to be a fly to left. So 3 fly balls. 1, 2, 3. Mets are retired. We go to the bottom half of the first. That was a pretty quick inning. So this game really moves along. Now pretty soon I'll be playing an APA game. I'll be giving away I think it's a 1990 season, I believe it is, that I'll be giving away. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain in a second. Pete Falcone takes the mound. He's a lefty, so I'm going to have to look at the lefty side. Now, I got these cards with lefty-righty splits. You don't have to do that. You can get just one column. But I had a double column, so I'm going to be looking at versus left-handed pitcher. It's Rafael Landis-Stoy leading it off. Second baseman, Craig Reynolds, the shortstop. We'll pull those cards. Batting third is Jose Cruz, lefty. Cesar Cedeno, first baseman, cleanup. Enos Cabell batting fifth, third baseman. Jeffrey Leonard, sixth place batter in center field. Denny Walling in right field. It's a lefty. And that's batting seventh. Batting eighth is Bruce Bochy, the catcher. And then batting ninth is J.R. Richard. He's a 5 pitcher hitting card. Let's get started. Pete Falcone is a pretty decent player. 6-14, had a terrible 1-loss record. He was with a terrible team. His ERA was 4.16, which today would be pretty respectable. He would be considered like, the ace of the staff. Pete Falcone, here's the pitch. It's a 9. That's patient. Patient 34 off the left side, and that's going to be line base hit for Rafael Landis-Stoy, who has good speed. He stole 13 bases, decent speed. So we're going to check and see if he can get a jump and go. He's on at first. We're going to see his jump number is a 4. We got an 8, so no, he does not go. It's going to stay there. Now we could bunt. Craig Reynolds is an A bunter, and in the Astrodome, it's not a hitter-friendly park here, especially for home runs. So we're going to probably have to bunt more than we normally do. And it says sacrifice hit, successful, and it's to the catcher. Trevino throws to the second baseman covering. Sacrifice bunt 2-4, and that's going to move Landis-Stoy to second. So we've got a runner in scoring position right here in the bottom of the first. Pitch from Falcone. That's a tough 33. Tough 33 is a strikeout, so that's Jose Cruz strikes out. And it's Cesar Cedeno now with 2 outs. Cesar Cedeno with 2 outs. Right around second, Landis takes his lead off second base. Pete Falcone with the pitch. That's Patient. Patient 45. And that's a base on balls. So Cedeno walks. And it's Enos Cabell. Cabell versus lefties batted .264. Here's a pitch from Falcone. That's a 10. That's in play 68. An in play 68. And that's a ground ball to Flynn. Flips it to Cranepool, and that retires the side. So the Astros leave 2. Score none. And at the end of 1, no score. Now after about every 3 innings, I shuffle the cards. Here's the pitch from JR to Richie Hebner. That's tough. A tough 49. That's right outside the hit range. It's a grounder that's pulled down the line, but Cabell is there. Fires the first. And that's 1 away. So 4, which is a ballpark 69. That's going to be in play. In play 14 to Joel Youngblood. And that's going to be line ground ball and through into left field for a base hit. So a single for Youngblood. We're going to take a look and see if he goes. We need a 4 or less, and we pull a 3, so he does go. He's a C. Catcher is Bochy. See his arm. His arm is a 4. So a C4 is actually very good. Very good chance of stealing the base. We look here, and bad card for stealing the base, unless you're excellent. Very good is out, so Bochy guns down Youngblood. Not what we wanted. He's out. Caught stealing. 2, the next batter was a lefty, so that would be the shortstop covering 2-6. And basically, if it's a lefty batter, that means he's going to pull to the right side, so then the second baseman will stay and play more away from the bag. Craig Reynolds would be covering. That's why it's a 2-6 instead of a 2-4. Had it been a right-handed batter at the plate while Youngblood was stealing, it would be the opposite. It would be a 2-4 because the shortstop would be playing more towards left field or more towards the left side. I don't know. I think I explained myself. All right. Don't want to overdo it. Anyway, it's at a Cranepool now with 2 outs. Pitch 12. That's defense. So a 12, it's going to be a range second base. Now the range for Landis, let's see what kind of a second baseman he is. A D. Now I wish I knew how they arrived at these qualities. He's a D range. So that means a 1 to 50 is going to be a hit. So let's pull a card. 1 to 50, a 70. So that's going to be an out. It's going to be what kind of an out? We look here. What kind of an out to second base? It's going to be a ground ball. Second base, Landis over to Cesar Cedeno for out number 3. Go to the bottom half of the first, no score. Playing payoff pitch. Replaying the 1979 Mets season. Now the Mets, I have the stats here. We're about 8 games off pace here. In our replay, it's 44-87. In reality, they were 52-79. So we're about 8 games off. Jeffrey Leonard is leading it off against Pete Falcone. Here's the pitch from Pete Falcone. It's a wheelhouse 68, and that's an out. It's a big ground ball, second base. Flynn throws him out. 1 down. Denny Walling, the lefty. Lefty versus lefty. That's a 12. That's defense. Defense to the error rating of the pitcher. Error rating of the pitcher. He's a 3 error rating. That's 1-34 will be an error on the pitcher. And it's a 1-34, it's a 26. Now we're going to see if it's a one base or a two base error on the pitcher, and it's going to be a two base error. So it's a comeback to Falcone, and oh, he throws over the head of Cranepool into right field. Youngblood chases it down, and Walling makes it to second base. So it's going to be an E1, and it's going to be a two base error. And Walling is in scoring position now with only one out. Bruce Bochy, the batter. Here's the pitch from Falcone. 11, that's ballpark. 82, that's in play. In play versus a lefty is 99. That's popped up to the left side. And backing up is Hebner. He calls for it, makes the catch. That's 2 out. We used the modifier there on that one. J.R. Richard. He's a 5 pitcher hitting card. It's 10. That's in play. In play 47. And that's an out. That's a ground ball to third. Richie Hebner gets him at first, and that retires the side. The Astros leave 1, score none. And at the end of 2, no score. J.R. Richard climbs on the mound. He's going to be facing Alex Trevino, Doug Flynn, and Pete Falcone. Both teams have a hit so far. And here goes. It's 5, that's tough. A tough 12, that's going to be a strikeout. So Trevino strikes out. 1 down. Here's Flynn. That's 12. That's defense. Defense to the third baseman. Error on the third baseman. Let's see. Third baseman is Cabell, and he's a 3 error third base. And it's 1-34 is an error. The roll of 20, so it's going to be an error. See what kind of an error. Is it 1 or 2 bases? It's going to be a 1 base error. So the throw pulls Cedeno off the bag. And it's an E5 on Cabell. E5. Runner on first. Doug Flynn is not a threat to steal, so he only. Well, you know what? I mean, he had no stolen bases, but he was caught 3 times, so I'll still pull a card for him. 3. He needs a 2 to go. And it's going to be Pete Falcone with 1 out, so we're going to bunt with Falcone. Now, bunting. Yeah, it's on Falcone's card. His bunting is a B, so he's a decent bunter. So we're going to see what happens here. And it's a pop-up. Pop-up to the catcher. So Falcone fails to move Flynn over. So there's 1 out now. Sorry, 2 outs now. And here's the pitch to Frankie Tavares at top of the order again. 6, tough. A tough 46. And that's going to be, I'll tell you what that is. That's a line drive into left field. Runner's going to advance to third base. So it's going to be first and third now. So second hit off J.R. Richard, and the Mets with 2 outs here have something going. And it's going to be John Stearns. Stearns versus righties batted .241. So here's the pitch to Stearns with 2 outs. Runners on first and third. It's a 4, so that's ballpark. 65, that's in play. 40, in play 40 is a ground ball to the first baseman, Cedeno. This is the 3rd inning, so he's going to flip to Richard covering, and that's going to retire the side. The Mets leave 2 here, but fail to score. And we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning with no score. Pete Falcone is going to be facing Landestoy, top of the order. Landestoy, Craig Reynolds, the shortstop, and then Jose Cruz. We're playing the 1979 Mets season. We're in game 131, I believe. That's a 9 off Falcone. That's patient. A patient 64. And that's a ground ball to Flynn at second. 4-3, 1 away. Next is Craig Reynolds, and that's going to be a tough pitch. See what Reynolds can do with it. Not too much. It's a grounded is short. Taveras on the run, scoops it, throws, and gets Reynolds by half a step. And it's Jose Cruz. Jose Cruz struck out in his first at bat. That's patient. A patient 80. And a patient 80 is a fly ball to shallow center. Running in is Mazzilli. Will he get there? Yes, he does. 3 up, 3 down for Pete Falcone. Go to top of the 4th, and this is where we're going to shuffle our cards. Okay, I'm going to shuffle a little bit here. I'm not going to overdo it, but I just want to kind of mix them up so we get good randomization of results. I like it because it's real quick and it's ordered. When I pull cards, I put the card in a specific spot and I know exactly where to look. When I roll dice, the dice are all over the place, moving about. Even though I keep them in a confined area using a dice tower, they're still, they don't land exactly the same every time. So this has a general, an influence over just the whole experience. This is very kind of relaxing and serene, this card pulling. Now, nothing's more, random than the dice, obviously, but this works pretty well. I'm happy with the results. I'm getting pretty decent games, realistic results. All right, so using the cards, it's nice and quiet. Stealth. It's 3 in the morning right now, so there we go. We're ready to go. It's J.R. Richard against Lee Mazzilli. Now, when you have iScore, you click on the name in the lineup, and that's going to tell me his stats. He's batting .327. He's got 480 at bats. He's hit 13 home runs. He's driven in 55. So that's the deal. He's pretty close to his actual stats. He, in reality, hit 15 home runs in the replay. With 1 month left, he has 13. So that's pretty close, That's pretty good. What else? He had a total of 74 strikeouts. In our replay, he has 59 strikeouts. Okay, so in reality, he batted 304, I believe. He's batting .327, so a little bit higher. So some are batting a little bit higher, some are batting a little bit lower. All right, Lee Mazzilli. Pitch from Richard. 7, that's a tough pitch. A tough 52. Oh, it just misses being a hit. It's a grounder. He pulls it to Cabell. Cabell throws him out. 1 away. Richie Hebner, who's 0 for 1, he grounded out. That's a tough pitch. Tough pitch, and that's a strikeout. Hebner gets fooled. And Joe Youngblood, 2 out. 4, ballpark 43, that's in play. In play 07, that's going to be driven into the gap. And Leonard chases after, but that's going to roll to the wall. And Youngblood is in at second base, standing with a double, a 2-out double for Joe Youngblood. That's his second hit of the game. It's going to be a 7 against a righty. And it was what, a 5? A 5 was what, that was weird. That was strange because I got 5 here. Got a 4 there. That's what I pulled, I thought. And then and for some reason, then I got a 07, but what happened to this card? Why do I have a 5 there? I know it wasn't tough. It was a 4, it was ballpark. Oh, I remember why, because it was ballpark and I had to roll. There you go. Anyway. Okay, so that's a double for Youngblood with 2 outs, so the Mets have a runner in scoring position for Eddie Kranepool. Now let's look at Kranepool. Let's look at his stats real quick. Kranepool in reality batted .215. In the replay, he's batting .227, so a little bit better than he did in actuality. He's a left-handed batter, played first baseman. He's a longtime Met, been with the Mets since the beginning. Here's the pitch. It's a 9. That's patient. A patient 0-0. So that's going to be a rare play. Rare play. Let's see what happens. Rare play with runners on base. And we're going to pull a card for this. 2-12. See what happens. So it's going to be a 4. It says scorching line drive to third base. A or B makes the catch. Range C, D, or F knocks the ball down, infield single. Cabell is at third base, and he's in F range. So that's going to be an infield single. Infield single for Kranepool. And stopping at third, advancing only one base, is Youngblood. First and third with 2 outs. And it's Alex Trevino. Trevino versus righties batted .239. Did pretty well against lefties in 100 at-bats. Almost 198 at-bats. Versus lefties, he batted .306. Versus righties, he batted .239. Here's the pitch from Richard with 2 outs. Runners on first and third in the top of the 4th inning. That's a tough pitch. A tough 21. And that's going to be a strikeout. Curveball got him. And that retires the side. The Mets leave 2, score none. And at the end of 3.5, it's 0-0. We got a good game going here. Mets have 4 hits against Richard so far. Not too shabby. It's Cesar Cedeno leading it off. I know he played center field for a while. But he's at first base now. I remember him as a center fielder as a kid. All right, that's going to be a 3. And that's Falcone. That's in play 47. And that's going to be a ground ball to third. Hebner throws him out. 1 down. Enos Cabell, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out. That's an 11. That's ballpark 67. That's in play 93. That's going to be an out. It's going to be a fly ball to shallow left. Stearns, normally the catcher, he's out there. He makes the catch. And it's Jeffrey Leonard. Defense. Error pitcher again. And we saw that the pitcher's fielding was a 3. So 1-34 is an error. And that's going to be his second error of the game. Is it a 1 or a 2 base error against the pitcher? It's a 1 base error. So come back to Falcone, who bobbles it. Throws to first, and he is safe. So it's going to be an E1. Second error of the game. You don't see that very often against the pitcher. So Pete Falcone with a second error in the game. And Jeffrey Leonard's on at first. Will Jeffrey Leonard try to steal? He had 23 stolen bases. He needs a 5 or less to go. And we got a 12, so it's not 5 or less. He does not go. Denny Walling, left-handed hitter. Using actual lineups, Wheelhouse 72 against a lefty. Wow, it goes all the way up to 54. Batted .429 versus lefties. Oh, I see why he's in there. We rolled a 72. And 72 is going to take us to a ground ball to short. Frankie Taveras over to first. Actually flips to second base for the 4-6-4. And that retires the side. We're at the top of the 5th, no score. J.R. Richard against the bottom of the order, Flynn, Falcone, and then the top, Taveras. So that's 7. That's a tough pitch. A tough 23, and that's going to be a strikeout. Flynn strikes out. Next is a 5-pitcher hitting card. 8, that's a tough pitch. 14, that's a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Richard. And it's Frankie Taveras, who's 1 for 2. He's flied out and single. That's an 8. That's a tough pitch. 85. And that's going to be an out range. Grounder to short. Craig Reynolds throws him out. 3 up, 3 down. Quick inning. Bruce Bochy leading it off. It's Bochy, Richard, and then the top of the order. Here's the pitch to Bochy, 5. That's ballpark 33. It's in play 81, and that's an out. That's going to be a pop-up He's a righty, so that's going to be a pop to the shortstop using a modifier there for that. Taveras waits for it. One away. Okay, here's J.R. Richard. J.R. Richard actually hits a home run in this game, by the way. 7, tough. A tough 61 is going to be a strikeout. So Richard strikes out, and tough pitch. Tough pitch. Can Landis do anything with it? 43, no, does not. He grounds it out to the first baseman. Kranepool takes it himself. What inning are we in? Because that makes a difference. It's how I do it. We're in the 5th inning, so he's going to flip to Falcone covering. I'll explain how I do that. When it's a ground ball to first, if it's an odd inning, I get the pitcher to cover, and if it's an even, I get the first baseman takes himself, just to create a little variety, in a simple way to create some variety. All right, John Stearns. Stearns, Mazzilli, and Hebner leading off the top of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch from Richard. No score in this game. It's a 9. That's patient. A patient 91. Maybe an out to the shortstop. Greg Reynolds fires to Cedeno. 1 down. Lee Mazzilli's 0 for 2 today. That's a 10 in play, 32, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. So Mazzilli, as usual, gets his hit for the game. And he's a threat to steal. So we're going to test and see if he goes 5 or less. He does. It's a 7. He does not. Richie Hebner. The pitch from Richard is patient. A patient 71. It's going to be a ground ball to short. Now, this could be a double play. We're going to roll a 9. It's a 6 here. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. What number did I say was 71? 71 is going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be 6. Oh, wait. Nope. My mistake. 71 is going to be a line drive because it's the last number in the column. The last number in the row. It's 60. For example, it's 61 to 71. Since it's the last number, it's going to be a line out to the shortstop. So no double play there. So it's line 6. So that's 2 outs, and it's Youngblood. 8, tough 52 for Youngblood. Tough 52, and that's going to be a ball blooped into right field. See if it falls. In comes Walling. Doesn't get there. Drops in. And Mazzilli's going to go to third since there's 2 outs, and he's a 6 or better in the base running category. So it's going to be first and third. Again, the Mets have first and third. They weren't able to capitalize on it last time, but again with 2 outs. So that puts the pressure on Kranepool here. The top of the 6th. There's no score in this game. Mets have 6 hits. And they have runners on first and third. Youngblood takes his lead off first. And Mazzilli is on at third base. Now we're going to see if Youngblood goes. 10, he does not. Kranepool's the batter. He's a left-handed batter. He's 1 for 2. He's grounded out and singled. Here's the pitch from J.R. Richard to Ed Kranepool. That's an 11. That's patient. Patient, we're looking at 30 to 48 as a hit. A 20. A patient is going to be a base on ball, so the bases are loaded. Bases are loaded for Alex Trevino. 239 batter versus righty. See what he can do here. Bases loaded. Top of the 6th. No score. Ed Kranepool's on at first. Youngblood is on at second. Mazzilli's on at third. There's 2 outs. There's a pitch from Richard. It's a 7. That's a tough 43. Tough 43 is going to be a hard grounder into left field. And in comes Mazzilli. Mets lead at 1-0. And they're going to wave Youngblood home, the throw home, and he is safe under the tag. So it's going to be first and third now. It's 2-0 Mets. Wow, that was unexpected. It's going to be a single. 1 runner scores. Second run scores. And Alex Trevino's on with a 2-run single here in the top of the 6th inning, giving the Mets a 2-0 lead against J.R. Richard. Wow, so that was a 43 under tough category, and it's a single on Trevino's card. So sometimes, even though the pitcher makes a good pitch, the batter has an effect, and he kind of muscles it out there, and it drops in for a hit. So runners first and third, and Doug Flynn, who's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch to Flynn. That's a 7. Again, another tough pitch. And this time, Flynn strikes out. And that's going to retire the side. But the Mets pick up 2 runs. And they lead it by a score of 2-0 now here in the bottom of the 6th inning. See if Pete Falcone can continue with his masterful performance. He's allowed only 1 hit so far in 5 innings. So it's going to be Craig Reynolds, Jose Cruz, and Cesar Cedeno. Here's the pitch. It's an 8. A patient 76. And that's a fly ball. Deep left field. Back goes Mazzilli. And he makes the catch. 1 away. Jose Cruz. 7. That's tough. A tough 95. A tough 95. And that's going to be a fly ball to right. Youngblood this time. Over a few steps, has it in his sights, puts it away. That's 2 down, and with 2 outs, Cesar Cedeno. That's defense, a defense range shortstop, and that's an 88. So that's going to be outside whatever it is. It's going to be 88. The Frank Taveras is a D, but that's 1 to 50. We pulled an 88. This is going to be a kind of an out, is it? Let's take a look. Big ground ball to Taveras, and throws out Cedeno. 3 up, 3 down for Flynn. That's a quick inning. To go to the top of the 7th, and it's that time again. We got to do our shuffling. Got to shuffle it up. So that was a pretty good 3-inning set for the Mets. They were able to take the lead. They lead it 2-0. Now in this game, Jeff Reardon pitched. So if Falcone gets into any trouble for the Mets, we're going to bring in Reardon now. J.R. Richard went the distance in this game, so unless he starts allowing lots of hits and base runners, he's going to stay in there for the completion. The Mets in this game, in the actual game, had 7 hits, and they have 7 hits in this game so far. So see what happens. All right, so we're ready to go here. We shuffle this up. Now this is a 3-game set, and then later we play Montreal for another 3 games. We're in the 2nd game of a 3-game set. It's J.R. Richards who's going to face Pete Falcone. He's a 5. That's defense. Defense range left field. Left fielder is Jose Cruz. Let's take a quick look at his range. And he's a B range, so it's going to be 1 to 32 is a hit. And we pull a 58. That's going to be an out. That's lined and caught by the left fielder, Jose Cruz. That's 1 down. So Falcone got good wood on it, but right at Cruz. That's patient 86 against Taveras. It's going to be a ground ball to short. Reynolds throws out Taveras by half a step. Taveras can hustle down that line. Good speed. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. That's a tough pitch to Stearns, and that's a strikeout. Stearns swings through that fastball. 3 up, 3 down. That was a quick inning. We go to Enos Cabell. So Falcone's going to face Cabell, Leonard, and Walling here in the bottom of the 7th. 2-0 Mets. 5, that's ballpark. 34, that's in play. That's a 69. That's going to be an out. And that's a grounder to second. Flynn throws out Cabell. 1 away. Pitch from Falcone. That's wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 38 against a lefty. That's going to be outside of hit range. And it's popped up to the right side. Cranepool calls for it. Makes the catch. 2 down. Denny Walling. He's 0 for 2 today. That's a 9. That's patient 38. And that's going to be a ball that's pulled down the line into right field corner. Around first is Walling and into second base. Thrown out in time. So it's a 2-out double for Walling here. Bruce Bochy now the batter. Here's the pitch from Falcone. That's a 7. That's a tough pitch. A tough 96. And that's going to be an out. That's going to be a fly ball, shallow left. Stearns He's there, and that retires the side. So the Astros leave one, score none. And after 7 complete, it's 2-0 Mets. Hope the Mets can hold on to this one. They have a tendency to let these close ones go in the last couple innings. So it's J.R. Richard facing Mazzilli. Mazzilli's 1 for 3 on the day. That's a 5. That's a tough pitch. A tough 0-5, and Mazzilli strikes out. Tough pitch again, 31. A tough 31, and that's going to be against Hebner. And I'll tell you what that's going to be. That's going to be a deep drive off the left field wall. So Hebner goes the opposite field, and he's in there with a double. So Hebner with a 1-out double off J.R. Richard. Joel Youngblood is next. Now Youngblood's 3 for 3 today. He's got a single, a double, and a single. Take a look at how his batting average is. Now, let's look. He's batting 243. In reality, Youngblood batted 270. So he's batting about 30 points below his average. Richie Hebner, second base. Youngblood at the plate. And you know what they're going to do with Youngblood? They're going to walk Youngblood with 1 out and pitch to Kranepool, hoping for that double play, intentional walk. And it's going to be Eddie Kranepool. A tough 57, just exactly what the doctor ordered. A tough 57 is going to be a fly ball shallow left. Well, we're going to see, yeah, fly ball shallow left, fly out. And that's going to be, if it were to center field, right field, I would potentially check and see if it's a deep fly, and then I would potentially give Richie Hebner the chance to advance, but Hebner's not a very good base runner. So that is not going to happen anyway. So I'm not going to go through all those steps if, Now, if I had if it were to center, or this is my house rule, if it were to center right field, I would check deep, and if it's a deep fly ball, I would give the second baseman a chance to advance, and I would even give the guy on first, the second baseman, not the second baseman, but the runner on second, chance to advance, and even the runner on first a chance to advance as well. Again, I would have to roll against the outfielder's arms and that sort of thing. I'm going to go through all that right now because it was a fly to left. Alex Trevino, 2 outs. J.R. Richard on the mound. Mets have first and second. Here's the pitch. It's a 9. That's patient. A patient 99. That's going to be popped up. And that's going to be Cabell. He's there. Makes the catch. That retires the side. Mets leave 2. After 7.5, 2-0 Mets. Pete Falcone. What a game. Pete Falcone only had 1 complete game in 31 starts. So this is probably the last inning he's going to go. And we're going to have to see, you see, we're in a wacky situation here. I mean, this is really an opportunity for a pinch hitter. So we are going to bring a pinch hitter. We're going to bring in Alou. Alou's going to pinch hit, and then we're going to have to bring in, so Alou's going to pinch hit here. And here's the pitch from Falcone. It's a 7. That's tough. A tough 80. Tough 80. That's going to be an out. It's going to be a fly ball to Mazzilli in center. That's 1 away. So Richard is out of the game. Landestoy next. Here's the pitch. It's a 2. A 2 is defense. It's to the shortstop. Error to the shortstop. A 0-0. So that's going to be an unusual play with nobody on, with bases empty. We're going to see what that turns out to be. I'm going to pull a card here. It's a 10. Catcher hit by foul. Check for injury. There's a lot of injuries, and I don't run those because I'm playing actual lineups. So it's basically a foul ball, I guess. Let's pitch again. Here goes the pitch from Falcone. 3 in play. In play 44. In play 44. That's going to be an out. That's going to be popped up to shortstop. Taveras, he's there. Puts it away for out number 2. And Craig Reynolds. 5. That's ballpark. Ballpark 16. Ballpark 16, he's a lefty. That's 1 to 11, so it's an in play 29 against a lefty, and that's going to be a base hit. A line to left field, and left fielder Stearns plays it on a hop. So runner on first, and it's Jose Cruz, 2 outs. So the tying run is at the plate here. Here's a pitch from Falcone. That's a 7. That's a tough pitch. A tough 42. Tough 42 is a strikeout. So Cruz strikes out, and that retires the side. Big, huge pitch by Pete Falcone. It's going to be Richard versus... Oh, Richard's out. We said that. So it's going to have... We're going to have to bring in... Randy Neiman is going to come in. Randy Neiman. He pitched in yesterday's game. That's why I know he's on the roster. All right. Here's the pitch to Doug Flynn. 10. That's in play. 0-1. That's good for Flynn. That's going to be a double into the gap. Flynn gets his first hit of the game. He's on at second. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Mets. He's a lefty. We're going to bring in Danny Norman. Norman's going to pinch hit. And they're going to walk Norman. Intentional walk to Norman. To Taveras now. Here's the pitch from Neiman. It's an 8. It's in play. 92. Are we bunting? We better be bunting. So we're going to pull a card to bunt. Let's see what happens. What kind of bunter is he? He is a D-bunter, and they're going to get the lead runner. It's going to be 3 to first and second. They're going to be. It's a wheel play, 3 to 6. So they're going to get the lead runner here. It's an out. Ground ball out. 3 to 6. Actually, it's a fielder's choice. So let me go back. In play, fielder's choice. 3 to 6. 3 to 6. And runner is out there at third base. Forced out. Boom. Everybody else moves up. So it's first and second again with 1 out. Johnny Stearns. Here's the pitch, 11. That's tough. A tough 12, and that's going to be a strikeout. Stearns strikes out. And Lee Mazzilli now. Lee Mazzilli, tough. Batting from the right side, 12. That's ballpark. 73. That's in play against the lefty. 1 to 31 is going to be a hit, and that's going to be a 20. And that's going to be a hard grounder into left field. And the runner on second is going to score. Dan Norman comes around to score, and going to third is Taveras. First and third, the Mets lead at 3 to nothing. So RBI single for Mazzilli. Going to third is Taveras. First and third, Mazzilli may go. He's going to check and see a 4. He does go, and that's going to be a C4, which is a safe. He's safe with a stolen base. Mazzilli steals second. And it's Richie Hebner now with second and third. Here's the pitch to Hebner. 3. Defense. Third base error. 25. Oh, that could be an error. On Cabell at third base. Third baseman error is a 3. That's a 1 to 34. We pulled a 25. So that's going to be what kind of an error? Third baseman error. It's a 1 base error. 1 runner is going to score. Mazzilli's going to move up, and it's going to be first and third now. It's going to be an E5. That's Cabell's second error of the game, by the way. All right. And now we're going to see if Hebner's going to stay put, but we're still going to pull a card just in case. Yeah, it's a 10, so he's going to stay put. It doesn't really steal many bases. So Youngblood is up now. There's 2 outs. That's 2 runs they've scored here. Oh, wow. They scored 2 runs in the 9th, so that's going to put Neiman into the fatigue category. Put Neiman into the fatigue category. Let's quickly take a look at who we can bring in. I think Sambito's on this team, and we can bring him in. And we can bring in the McLaughlin brothers as well. He's another one that pitches a lot. this group. McLaughlin and Zambito. Let's see where the other McLaughlin is. I think there are two McLaughlins. Let's see, I got Bo McLaughlin, and I've got the other one who pitches a lot is, I thought I had two McLaughlins on this team, and I guess not. They must have traded one. That's weird. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Zambito just to get out of this inning. I don't want to deal with too much at this point. It's 4-0 Mets here in the top of the ninth. Zambito's coming in, see if you can get him out of this jam. There you go. Zambito. And Zambito's going to be in the ninth spot. Done. All right. So it's Zambito versus Youngblood. Zambito's a lefty, Youngblood's a righty. Here's the pitch from Zambito. It's 5. That's tough. A tough 0-0. That's an unusual play with runners on base. We're going to pull the card. We pulled a 4 with runners on base. That's a scorching line drive to third again. And we know he's not an A or B, so it's going to be an infield single. And Mazzilli's going to score, so it's an RBI single for Youngblood. That's his 4th hit of the game. And we have first and second. Mets have scored 3 in this top of the ninth. They lead at 5-0 now. And it's going to be Ed Kranepool. Lefty versus lefty. Here's the pitch from Zambito. 9. In play, 90. In play 90 from a lefty. That's going to be out. Ground ball to second. Landestoy flips to Reynolds. And that's going to retire the side. So finally, Mets are retired, but not before scoring 3 more runs. They lead at 5-0 going to the bottom of the ninth. And we're going to have Reardon is coming in. He actually pitched in this game. Jeff Reardon is going to finish it off for the Mets. If we can track him down. Now, the great thing about payoff pitch are the number of cards that you get. It's crazy. You get everybody. So it's a great, if you're doing historical replays, I mean, there's no better way to go, and the quality of the cards are outstanding. All right, so Reardon pitched in 18 games in 79 for the Mets. He was 1-2 with a 1.74 ERA. So hopefully he can hold on to this. So Reardon is in there. We're going to pop him in there, and it's easy to do this using iScore. He's in here somewhere. Wrote him in already. Jeff Reardon, done. You highlight him. I'm going to put him in the 9th spot as well, even though he'll never get to bat, hopefully. Hopefully they don't tie this or win this. There it goes. All right, so Reardon is on the mound, and he's going to face Cedeno. Here's the pitch from Reardon. That's an 8. A patient 18. That's going to be a base on balls. So the first batter's on, which is not a good thing. Enos Cabell, not a good thing for the Mets, right? 8, again, it's patient. A patient 0-1, that's going to be a base on balls. So Reardon comes in and walks the first 2 batters. Not good. So you got Cedeno at second, Cabell at first. It's 5-0 Mets in the bottom of the ninth. And it's Jeffrey Leonard. Here's the pitch from Reardon. It's a 3. That's ballpark, an 80. That's in play, an in play 33 against a righty. And that's going to be a grounder up the middle into center field. Runner on second is going to score. Cabell is going to advance 1 base, so it's 5-1 now. Wow. Story of my life with these Mets. My goodness. Still nobody out. Runners on first and second. Denny Walling, lefty, versus Jeff Reardon. Here's the pitch from Reardon. It's a 9. Defense to the shortstop, a 56. So Taveras, let's see what he looks like defensively. He is a 3 error. It's a 56. Okay, so that's going to be an out. See what kind of an out it is. Could be a ground ball double play out. An out is going to be a ground ball and runners advance. Oh, it's an out. 6-3, runners advance. So it's second and third now, with 1 out. And Bruce Bochy. Here's the pitch. It's a 9. Defense. Again, defense. And it's to the pitcher. Reardon is a 2 fielder, which basically means a 1 to 48 is an error on the pitcher, and it's a 41. What kind of an error on the pitcher? It's a single plus an error. So it's a dribbler, which the pitcher gets to, but then decides to throw wild to first base, and it rolls away from the first baseman. So here's what's going to happen. It's a single, which is going to advance. The runner on third, Cabell, he scores. The runner on third now is going to advance to third on the single, but he's going to go home on the error by the pitcher. And Bochy, what happened? He's going to be on the same error. He's on at first. So let's see. Now you can read what happened. Bochy hits a medium line drive for a single. Oh no, Bochy's going to go to second base on the error. Let me back up. Do the whole thing over again. All right, so it's going to be a single, in play single. That's going to score. The runner on third. Now, what happens to the runner on second? He's going to go home on an error by the pitcher. So he scores 5-3 now, and going to second on the same error as Bochy. So Bochy's on at second base. And Joe Sambito is due up. It's 5-3, 1 out, runner on second, and Jeff Reardon can't get anybody out. All right, so we got to look for a pinch hitter now. Terry Poole. Terry Poole is going to bat. He pitched. He played in yesterday's game. He's going to bat for Sambito. Where is he? See if we can find him. There he goes. All right, so it's Jeff Reardon still in there. It's 5-3 now. There's only 1 out. Jesus. And it's Terry Poole, left-handed batter, versus Reardon, a right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. Here's the pitch. Bochy's on at second. So the tying run is at the plate. 7 in play. In play 75 against a righty. In play 75 is going to be a fly ball to center field. Mazzilli catches it for out number 2. And it's going to be now Rafael Landistoi. Landistoi's 1 for 4. He singled, he grounded out twice, and then he's flied out. So Rafael Landistoi with 2 outs here. It's a 5-3 ball game. Landistoi doesn't have very much power. That's not the danger. Here's the pitch from Reardon. It's a 6. That's tough for the first time. A tough 32, and that's going to be a base hit. Grounder up the middle into center field. Runner on second is going to score. It's a 5-4 ball game now. RBI single. And you know what? That's enough. Enough is enough, man. All right, so I'm going to bring in Murray. Yeah, I'll bring in Murray. Let's see. I've been very, very patient with Reardon, but it's just mind-bending. All right, so Murray's going to come in and try to get the save. Murray had 4 saves. Jesus. Better yet, you know what? I'm going to bring in Andy Hassler, who pitched in yesterday's game. I'm going to bring in Hassler again to try to get the save. Hassler, I think, had a save or 2. Let's take a quick peek. Plus, he's a lefty. And let me bring in Hassler. Yeah, Hassler had 4 saves. So he's going to come in, try to get this save here. Andy Hassler. Let's look. There he is. I remember him as a Kansas City Royal against the Yankees in that era. So it's going to be... Now, Landistoi could steal. Let's see if he goes. It's a 4 or less. And it's a 6, so he does not go. Craig Reynolds now the batter. Craig Reynolds bats lefty. We brought Andy Hassler lefty. Lefty versus lefty. Here goes. Tying run is at first base. It's 5-4. That's a 6. That's patient. Patient 11 against a lefty. That's going to be a base on balls. So the tying run is now at second base. Wow, and it's going to be Jose Cruz. Jose Cruz batted .233 versus lefties. Here's the pitch to Jose Cruz. 2 outs. 5-4. Bottom of the 9th. Landeskog at second base, the tying run. The winning run is at first base. The Mets were leading 5-0 going into the bottom of the ninth. Here's the pitch from Andy Hassler to Jose Cruz. It's a 10. That's Patient again. Patient 84. Patient 84 versus a lefty. That's going to be the ball game. It's a ground ball, second base. Flynn flips to Taveras. And wow, the Mets just made it. My goodness gracious. Wow. And this is just a story of the season, man. No matter how many times Mets must have lost 10, 12 games in the last inning. So Pete Falcone is going to get the win. The loss is going to go to J.R. Richard. Pete Falcone gets the win. Pete Falcone is going to get the win. Richard gets the loss. The save is going to go to Andy Hassler. But wow, man, they just made it. They just made it. Mets just made holding on for a 5-4 win. The line scores the Mets 5 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors, 10 left on base. The Astros 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors, and 8 left on base. And now I'm going to have to go relax because that was very, very stressful. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast of Payoff Pitch 1979 Mets replay. God knows why I chose to do this replay, but I'm about 29 games from completion. So I'm going to try to get through this season. It helped me learn the Mets 79 and kind of relive my youth, if you will. And play with great players of the past, which is a cool thing. So that's about it. And this is CP Cards and Dice. Look out for my APBA. I may do the APBA giveaway tomorrow. I'm in the mood. I haven't played APBA in a while. APBA was my first game ever, so I have a soft spot for APBA. Spent many a day playing rolling dice in my room as a kid. Not thinking about anything too confusing. And that was nice. Those are nice memories, having my dad and my mom in their youth compared to now, and being a young guy and having my life ahead of me. So those were nice memories. Everything was simpler then, much simpler. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get ready for game 3, and this is Combat Painter signing off. Payoff Pitch, Fast Action Cards. Hope you enjoyed the stream, the broadcast. Take care.